wine, women and gambling. You know, we could include many activities under those categories of more or less the shorthand for the whole plethora of material delights on offer, which of course a wise person knows they're not delights at all, because they will lead to future pain. It's all about pain. And then Prabhupada says, so the wine, women and gambling, then, being mad, they maintain big slaughterhouses. And I was really surprised when I started looking into the whole question of the slaughterhouse economy. When I, wrote this book, I hope someone might have seen it, about cows and the earth. You've seen that book. It's really about the cow protection of the manor. And the way it came about was that, this beautiful new Goshala that's been built was due to open. I'm not sure if we've actually had the official opening still, have we? I don't think we have. There'll be a grand public opening at some point. Hopefully Prince Charles will come along to that. But when it became clear that this was going to be opening to the public, this fantastic set of shelters. Goshala means shelter for the cows. I call it Cow Cathedral, because it really is an act of worship in the purest sense, worship as service to our mother the cow and our father the bull. So I thought, well, we're going to need a book about that. Lots of people are going to come and see it, and so we read this book. I wrote it, and Shamsundar helped me with a lot of information. Shamsundar is the head of the farm of the manor. He's accumulated a vast amount of knowledge, and found a photographer to take beautiful pictures like that. Little calf, safe and sound. This calf will never be subjected to unnecessary suffering. Never. From the beginning of their lives, the cows at the manor and the bulls, quite the opposite. They are showered with love and affection. It's just like children. When a little baby is born into the community, everyone is saying, "Oh, how sweet! Can I hold the baby?" I'm passing the baby from one lap to another, and that's how it should be. Of course, unfortunately, it's often not like that, which is, of course, a lot of problems in society. But in a healthy society, children to the age of 5, they're just showered with affection, and so they grow up very healthy in their disposition, their relationship to others. And so similarly at the manor, I've seen, that the young calves, the cows, are showered with affection. Everyone wants to go and pat them and rub them, don't they? And there are some devotees and friends of the community, they just like to go and spend a few hours, just helping to look after the cows or just being with them. And so this little calf, will eventually grow into a huge ox, a huge bull, the height of a man. And look, can you see the picture? This huge, powerful creature. And he's standing so docilely next to this young boy who has nothing to fear from him. Because this animal has never been hurt deliberately. He's only known affection. He's learned discipline. At a certain age when they are about 13 months old, Shamsundar explained to me, that then we castrate the bulls. He assures me that that's necessary, but it's done painlessly. So there is, unfortunately, even sometimes a parent has to discipline a child, and so they're castrated, which means that they've achieved. They still continue to grow. In fact, they grow bigger, and somehow their bodily strength gets diverted, and they become bigger and stronger. And then after another year or so, when they're fully grown and strong, then they're trained, and it doesn't take long to train them. About 2 weeks sometimes, because they've already learned to trust, the humans around them, and then they quite happily work 6 or 8 hours. I think about 6 hours a day. They tend to work 5 or 6 hours because they need time for chewing. That's one of the nice things about being with the cows and the bulls, because they're so stable and just gentle and balanced and patient. They'll stand there kind of looking out of the doorway if they're inside, chewing for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours might pass, and nothing much will happen. They'll just chewing. So it really slows you down being with them. They have a great association. Mode of goodness. They're in the mode of goodness by nature. And they'll work like that, until they're 15 years old, something like that, and then they retire. And maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what age they retire, but they tend to live to between 15 and 20 years old. The cows are the same. Unfortunately, in today's world, what I learned is, that of course all animals nowadays are subject to persecution and exploitation, without exception. But none more than the cow, because cows are so valuable in terms of what they can offer humans. And so the world economy is, you might be surprised to know that it is running as much on cows as it is on oil. I mean, cows are that essential to the world economy. And in two ways. In the less developed world, the cows and draft animals in general, buffalo, they're essential for the farming. And they still use them, all over the less developed world. They use the traditional farming methods. Of course, they're being phased out rapidly. So much so that I discovered that in China, where people they don't drink milk in China. Generally speaking, they never drank milk. Some of them are learning to now, under the influence of Western culture. But traditionally, they never did. They never developed. There is a certain capacity for digestion, to digest milk. Not everyone has it. There are many groups of peoples, sort of tribal groups, who never learned to develop. They never developed that capacity to digest milk. And in China, generally, they're like that. They don't digest milk. So although they don't have dairy products as part of their diet, traditionally in China, the cow and the bull should never be killed. And the Taoist tradition, which was inscribed by the old Taoist emperors 2,000 years ago in religious law, was that to kill a cow or a bull was equal to killing a human being.